America's Mayor live. We are reproducing once again our New York background because we're going to talk about the New York debate, and also Ted was lazy. So we've
Thanks, Mayor.
what we should have done.
Thanks.
We should tomorrow. They're going to have demonstrations here. Oh, Ted is so excited.
Yeah.
He got all his equipment.
I gotta take someone with me though. I can't be doing this alone.
The moment he heard demonstration.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, he was fine when he came in. He looked good. Man, he was like in a state of excitement, like you can't believe. And he's getting out like all kinds of equipment. I don't know what he uses. Remember that stupid Fordham girl that he got to say she didn't know why she didn't know why she was at the Hamas rally. Then she asked her friend, did she know? She didn't know why either. And these are kids that are like undergraduates at Fordham, a Jesuit school. The Jesuits were never that good. I went to a Christian Brothers school, considerably better. The Jesuits make believe. They're like the Ivy League, they make believe. The Christian Brothers actually teach.
What brings you out tonight?
I'm here to support the NYU students protesting for Palestine.
Are you an NYU student?
I'm not, I'm a Fordham student.
Fordham, okay. And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU is doing.
Is there something that NYU is doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU is doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at...
People thought I set that up. It seems too like.
If she had said Manhattan College,
oh, you would not have let me play it.
It'd have been worse than the Yankees losing, where I often have to be put in under observation for 2 or 3 days so I don't commit suicide.
Right. Well, now that we're on this, Mayor, can we play one more short one in preparation for tomorrow?
You did so well with that one. Yeah, sure.
So what makes Trump a fascist? What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without
You gotta talk loud. I don't have my mic on.
I'm not really good into interviews stuff like that.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants, and not following laws, or he's a convicted felon. That's all I know.
But your sign says he's a fascist, and I'm just curious what makes him a fascist.
One of the things is that he's trying to control the media, right?
Say that again?
He's trying to control the narrative.
How is he trying to control the media? Doesn't every president try to control the narrative?
All right, well, we won't play any more. That wasn't the one I wanted to play, but we'll save them for... we got to get to the news. We're on a tight schedule.
These Ivy League products are stupid, moronic, and if you're spending your money in an Ivy League school, you are getting ripped off horribly. And I hope my daughter's not listening, but I'm going to sue for her tuition back. My son agrees. He went to Duke a little earlier. There was a little, I'm not going to tell you he didn't. He'll tell you. We'll put him on. And he'll tell you how they were screwed up too. The vast majority of universities in this country are left wing, infiltrated by the Marxist professors, the communist professors, and the ones who don't even know. They can't even spell communism. They just act that way because they can be smart. You got to find special schools now that teach them. Well, how about the fact that it's less than half of New York students who can do adequate reading and arithmetic when they graduate. But what we have with us is the guy who could fix it. And I'm going to tell you, he's the only guy who can fix it. I was convinced of that, for some time. I got more convinced of it after we talked a little over the phone. When I interviewed him on my show, I went to Ted and Dr. Maria and said, this guy's ready to be mayor. Now, Curtis?
Yes, Rudy.
I don't know if you're going to win or lose, and I'm praying you're going to win. We're going to tell you something. I hope this means something to you. I know you worked for me tirelessly as mayor. To be mayor, when I was mayor, after I was mayor. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You are ready. My friend, you completely dominated that debate. if they would be fair on the things that were important to people. You actually explained how to do things. You showed your complete knowledge of the city. So if they're doing this crap like, oh, he's just a crime guy, I think they'd buy you as a crime guy, right?
Yeah.
You are like they did me. They never had any idea I could do all the rest of the things.
Exactly.
So can you.
Well, let me make mention.
And you have studied a lot, my friend.
Yeah. Let me make mention that you betted. You had me one betted. The Christian brothers taught you at Laughlin. The Jesuits taught me at Brooklyn Prep.
I'll let that go. It's a hell of a lot better than the Jesuits were better then than they are now. They all were better. You can't even find a Catholic school now that isn't crazy.
That's true.
You are a very smart, very well-educated man about life and about New York City. And you are ready, and you're the only hope they have. Like people say to me, well, if we make Curtis mayor, and they'll tell me he's the best candidate, but what's he going to do with that city council? I said, well, whatever he does is going to be a lot better than the other two.
Oh, yeah.
And there are a lot of ways. I mean, you were very frank about your relationship with Trump. But if you have ideas that are good for New York, Trump, he doesn't care if he likes you, doesn't like you, Trump will support it in a minute.
Yeah, what I said, Rudy, in that debate last night, I said, because these two guys were trying to out macho one another. No, I'm gonna tough it out with Trump. I'm gonna tough it out. First Andrew, and then Zoran. And I said, guys, I'm the toughest guy on this stage. But
no question about that, Curtis.
You're gonna lose. You can't out tough Donald Trump. First of all, he has all the cards. We need the money from the federal government. If you're going to try to get tough with Trump, you're going to hurt the people of New York City. You negotiate. So we had one issue where Trump cuts off the funding for the Northeast Tunnel under the Hudson River, and he cuts off the funding for the extension of the Q train line. So I ride the subways all the day. I know we don't need the extension of the Q train line, but we need the tunnel.
Always
under the Hudson River.
We've had for 50 years.
Right. Millions of people are transported. So I would sit down with the president or whoever he delegates that to, and I say, well, how about discontinue the extension of the 2nd Avenue subway line, which is just a boondoggle, and build that system that is so necessary to transport all the people up and down the Northeast corridor from Washington, D.C.
Okay. I'm going to tell you something. The minute you made that proposal, he would meet with you. That's what he loves to do.
Yeah.
You just figured out how to appeal to the president. Now, I had to do that, but I'll tell you the difference. They would never have asked me, what are you going to do to placate Clinton, and how can you ever work with Clinton? They would never have asked me that.
Right.
I mean, I had to do everything Clinton wanted. And I said, I'll work with him.
Yeah.
And I worked with him, and we had a perfect relationship, because ultimately presidents want accomplishments. This is not what they claim. This is a very practical president. If he can look at that rail line and say, man, 50 years from now, Donald Trump and Curtis Sliwa built that, you got him.
Well, for instance, Rudy, I'm in one of your old stomping grounds in Bay Ridge, right up near 89th and 3rd. We have a headquarters here, and it's not the Bay Ridge that it was when you were here.
I know that.
It's changed. It's become very blue, and so we're taking it back block by block. We're making a difference, and there is a railway line here. In fact, Nadler has talked about it for years. It's a cargo line. I know, and that's an idea that the president would go for.
I had a deal with Nadler to do that.
Right.
I did. And the Democrats wouldn't support it.
Exactly. But it was about the only thing that Gerald Nadler ever said that made sense. The line is already here. It's transported cargo before. We need that instead of all the truck traffic.
He's 100% right on that. Curtis, you couldn't have picked a better example.
Yeah.
I tried to push that through. I got Clinton to agree to it, and the Democrats killed it.
Yes.
Because they wanted crap to give away to the bang the drum slowly, and let's give out heroin in Harlem, and that kind of stuff was more important.
And then the other thing I revived was the old Jack Kemp when he was Secretary of HUD, former congressman, former great football star from the Western New York Buffalo, who, when he served for Ronald Reagan, he came up with this idea that public housing residents should be able to own their apartment, like a co-op, like a condo. Obviously, they don't have the same equity, the same ability, but even if they're just paying a little bit in, ownership makes the difference. Do you know our own Republicans killed that idea? Reagan loved the idea, but the Republicans said no. The Democrats said, wow, that's a damn good idea. So I'm just going to revive that. You don't have to invent anything new. Everybody thinks you have to invent
things that are making me crazy.
Right. You just revive.
It's fabulous. I did that. I did that with a big left-wing group. Even though they were, I don't know, they were pretty close to communists, but they were willing to support it. My theory was exactly yours. If you can make somebody an equity owner in something, they begin to understand the economy, right? You say to them, I'm going to get you a mortgage for this little house, 2 bedrooms, whatever. And the house is going to cost you $100,000 and you're going to put up 10. We'll put in the other 90. All of a sudden, a year later, it's worth $150,000. And the guy has like $50,000 in equity that he begins to understand how this wonderful system of capitalism is the best way to make poor people rich, or
I
remember, make poor people middle class, upper middle class.
I remember, Rudy, when you were meeting with those groups and she was coming up the ladder. She hadn't quite become the national figure she became during Barack Obama's time running for office. Bertha Lewis of Acorn embraced that idea. I remember it because I was shocked that there was a partnership between you, Rudy, and people like Bertha Lewis who were saying, this makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, but you'll like that, Curtis. You know, I saw that. The other 2 guys were pathetic. They were pathetic. I mean, I'm getting a lot of criticism for this. They say, Curtis has no chance. Why are you ruining Cuomo's chance? I'll tell you why. First of all, forget Curtis. Cuomo has no chance. If you weren't in the race, if you decided to go to Mali, he's going to lose. He's got a ceiling. The ceiling is all the families of the people whose old people he killed.
Right.
All the people whose people have been killed because of his crazy criminal laws, and all of the people who believe he's like a lying whatever, you know. So maybe he gets to 35, 40, but there's a ceiling on him. The only ceiling on you is people don't know you.
Right.
If they get to know you,
I will tell you this.
So we gotta get them to know you. I really think that if Mondami breaks open, it won't go to him, it'll go to you. The question is, we got to get him to break open.
Rudy, in your history, desperate people do desperate things, and that's what Andrew Cuomo did earlier this morning on WABC radio with our friend.
Let me see this. Do we have it?
Yeah, he blamed you, Rudy, and Pataki for forcing me to run so that Zoran Mondami, we call him now the zombie Mondami, right in advance of Halloween. The zombie.
Wait. I haven't heard this yet. George Pataki and I got together and twisted your arm to run in order to make sure that Zoran Mondani got elected so we can win all of America.
Yes. And he said it about 3 times this morning.
We're going to play it right now.
You think of your performance last night?
Can you hear?
Yeah, first, I think with Mondami, you're right. I think Mondami got exposed. You know, there's no there with Mondami. He changes his answers. And I think it was obvious yesterday. I got a chance to call him on a few of them, and he did a total flip-flop. And, you know, he's got that used car salesman grin.
Oh, I hated that.
Don't worry. This is a cream puff. It was owned by a little old lady, this car. Only drove it to church on Sunday. Yeah, give me a break. But let's get real. Curtis is a major factor in the race, but not for the reason you think. Curtis cannot win. No Republican voted to put Curtis on the ballot. No Democrat voted to put Curtis on the ballot. He was put on by the party bosses, the Republican county chairs. That's why I kept talking about Pataki and Giuliani, because they're the party establishment. And they put Curtis on because he is a spoiler. And they want Mondami to win. And I'm telling you, Sid, straight talk. They want Mondami to win because it is good for the Republican Party politically. They'll take Mondami, they'll run him around the country, they'll run him around the state. They'll say, look at how crazy this Democratic Party is. They voted for this 33-year-old socialist. He doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He's anti-cop, anti-business, anti-Semitic. It will work for them politically, but they will kill the city.
I want to kill
and Curtis is just a spoiler. He cannot win. You vote for Curtis, just save yourself the time and vote for Mondami. That's what this is. And that's all he talked about, Pataki and Giuliani. Yes, he's the candidate of the Republican Party chairs. And what Republicans and your listeners are going to have to decide is what's more important. Voting for a Republican because I'm a Republican and I'm going to vote Republican.
Even though the rest off. We don't need to listen to this liar from the time he was 16. Vote for Cuomo, not the homo. Remember that? Yep. You know where that came from, right? So did Ed Koch until the day he died. When I supported his old man, right, his father.
Yep.
Koch said, it was the right decision for the city. But I had to go vomit. And not because of Mario, because of that little shit. Well, in any event,
yeah, but Rudy,
I don't think George Pataki and I have had a conversation about this.
No.
Yes, we have. We had one conversation about it. It was on September 11, and he and I both said, "Can you believe the city would get to considering a communist candidate?"
Yep.
And he said, "Mayor, when you were mayor, I could never have thought about that." And that was it. And we haven't been in communication since then. He's making that up. He's a complete narcissistic, pathological liar. And I'm going to ask to go on Sid tomorrow and rip him a new, you know what?
Oh yeah, and Rudy, the best thing was, if you noticed me in the debate, I must have mentioned George Pataki to him about 36 times because I knew it would get under his skin because of his father. When they asked me, who is the best president ever? I said, George Pataki. Any way I can get George Pataki. When they asked me who is the best mayor, I said, Rudy Giuliani. So it was in his mind. And the moment
he heard the two names.
Right. The moment I turned to him and I said, you're not pro-police. You paroled 43 cop killers into the streets in 8 years.
Yeah.
Your father was governor for 12 years, never paroled one cop killer. I knew your father, Andrew Mario. You're no Mario Cuomo.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he just, you could see in his face. That was it. And he was so angry this morning. He said things he should never have said. Imagine a station that's listened to by Republicans who idolize you and George Pataki for what you did and also for how you helped our entire country in 9/11. He called George Pataki your glorified coat holder. That's how demeaning this guy is.
Well, I remember that. I criticized him for that when he did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember when he did that way back in 2002.
I gotta find that.
Gosh, you got a great memory, Curtis.
Yeah, no, and
I do remember that. He called him my coat holder. It was so unfair. I mean, Pataki was a real hero. He didn't have to give me the authority that he gave me. He could have just said, I'm taking over. But he said, no, let's do this as a joint project. You know the city better. I know the state better and how to get things. So your knowledge of the city, you run things in the city, and I'll get you what you need like that. And then,
he said this. You'll love this. He says President Donald Trump should call state GOP chairman Ed Cox, and Ed should tell Curtis to drop out of the race. Now, number one, it's less than 3 weeks to go. I'm already on the ballot. I've said a million times, no, I'm not dropping out. But that's how crazy it is. That's why I'm saying the desperate people will do desperate things.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of that pressure too, and I thought about it, and I have to tell you, I did very heavy conversations about it. You know, look, Curtis, I love you, and I want you to be mayor, but I love the city more.
Yes.
And I actually thought about it. Do I have to? And I went through it, and I probably had my deepest conversations. These are your biggest fans, by the way, Dr. Maria and Andrew.
Yes.
And they said, I think they said, if you do that, we won't talk to you anymore. They said, how about principle?
That's right.
He said, look, Curtis honestly has as good a chance of beating him as Cuomo. It's going to have to be kind of like a surprise revolution. And
well, not only that, but Rudy, that debate changed everything. People,
and the debate changed everything. And you don't have his feeling. Andrew has his feeling. There's a group of people that hate Andrew. I mean, like really hate him. And it's better than 50%. You have people that don't know you.
Correct.
Not that hate you. They don't know you. Correct. They just have to, they got to watch that debate and see, this is a very intelligent man. He knows what he's doing. He ran, next time do a little more. Everybody has advice, I'm sure. But next time do a little more on how you ran a worldwide organization and what a good executive you are.
Yep.
And also how you saved a lot of these kids. That's the thing that impressed me right away. I'd look at these kids. These kids would be the guys I'd be arresting if it weren't for you. Yep. Instead, they're saving other people, helping other people.
And the other thing,
they never were like goons, or they were always very, very. They only used self-defense when absolutely necessary. They were hardly creating problems. But you saved their lives.
Definitely. And Rudy, last night, for the first 10 minutes, the moderators treated me like a person of no consequence. Like,
Maria went crazy. She was going nuts. She was watching it and reporting.
And that's when I realized this was like roller derby. And I was going to have to elbow my way in. The moderators do not seem to understand, Rudy, that this debate is not about them. Increasingly, debates now are more focused on who is asking questions than the people running for office. Mario Cuomo, a much better Cuomo than Andrew. 1977, Rudy. I'm watching Reggie Jackson, 3 straight home runs. Yankees win 4-2 against Tommy Lasorda's Dodgers. Yankees win. Howard Cosell announcing there's fires in the background in the concourse area of the Bronx where he grew up. He says, George Steinbrenner is talking about moving the Yankees to Secaucus. I'm saying the Meadowlands. What? The only thing you moved back then to the Meadowlands were mobsters choking on their lobsters, dead guys of organized crime, and garbage. And there was a real fear that was what would be transpiring. Now, obviously, when you got elected, that ended. But that year was a heated Democratic primary. Koch beats Cuomo, Mario. Mario lives up to his promise, runs on the Liberal Party line. You had Barry Farber, the talk show host, who had lost to Bella Abzug.
Yep.
And then you had the heir to the Ex-Lax fortune, a Republican, liberal, the old traditional Republican, the state senator from the Upper East Side. Rudy, there were 12 debates. Gabe Pressman moderated most of them, and all he did was throw the question in.
Yeah. Gabe was like that, yes.
Right. If it got a little too congested where you couldn't hear them talking, he'd break it up. That's what a moderator is supposed to do, not dominate the comment. And imagine, I remember in 2021, I'm running against Eric Adams. There was a $4 billion gap in the city budget. And in 1 minute, they wanted to have me explain how I would resolve that. I said, excuse me, no disrespect, but I can't even tell you in 1 minute how to balance my checkbook. How in 1 minute's time am I going to tell you how you're going to balance a budget that, as you know, as mayor, you have to have a balanced budget with a $4 billion looming gap? These questions, they don't give you enough time. It's not a conversation. It should really be a conversation between John, me, and Andrew. We disagree, but we engage one another, not the moderators. They think they're the stars of these debates, and they're really not. They're really not at all.
It's true, and it's not good for the voters. What they really should do is let all of you debate and then equalize the time. So if one guy got too much time, they should say, wait a second, Cuomo, you got too much time. The other guys have to get a little time now. Just make it equal and let them go at it.
Exactly. Or you have enough outlets.
Once you did that, you were great.
Right, but you have enough outlets. Why not one night? You have different outlets. One night, you're just talking about public safety, quality of life. That's it. You need an hour. Another night, it's about affordability, the cost of living. Those were the two big issues on all the voters' minds. That takes a lot of explanation.
Curtis, the best answer you gave is, I'm not going to the Mets game. I'm a Yankee fan, said GOP nominee Sliwa, not mincing words.
Exactly. And you remember when you had me MC the event in Bryant Park, Mr. Mayor, in which it was Mets versus Yankees 2000, Jeter's Yankees versus, of course, Bobby Valentine's Mets. You had fences in the middle, Mets on one side, Yankees on the other. And I'm screaming into the microphone, I hate you Met fans with a passion. I'm a Yankee fan. And all your deputy mayors, Joe Loda, some of the others, Randy Mastro, would say, get that guy off of here. He's going to start a riot.
Yeah, well, you got my son like that, too.
Right. But you then took over and you said, that's right, like Curtis, I'm a Yankee fan. And I make no bones about it.
I thought if I said I was a Yankee fan, when they all knew it, right, I would get, credit from the Met fans for being honest. All I ever got was things thrown at me. Whenever I go to Shea Stadium, go back to the Bronx, you bum, until 9/11. And I got a standing ovation on 9/11.
Yes.
And do you know something? They probably voted for me more than the Yankee fans.
Yeah. Well, there were more of them that lived in the
Once
city.
it comes down to deciding about, is Roosevelt Avenue going to be the worst drug and prostitution zone in the world or not? Because it's getting pretty close to that. And that moron wants to completely decriminalize prostitution. And Curtis, we got the girls off the streets. When I took over as mayor, there were prostitutes all over the streets of New York.
Yep.
And my major objective, what you want to do inside a house, I can't control that, unless it's a different kind of crime. But you're not going to have the streets filled with these poor girls who you're stealing out of poor families. I mean, who does this moron think these prostitutes are? These are poor kids whose lives are ruined. 80% are poor kids whose lives are ruined.
Yep.
I mean,
and by the way, it's typical of him and AOC and the other Democratic Socialists of America in the poor neighborhoods. But in Astoria, you don't see any prostitutes walking around. Why wouldn't Zorhan say, hey, it's not what I say, it's what I do. Welcome to Astoria Park. Turn this into a walk. They won't do that. They won't have it in their own neighborhood.
Well, the feminists of America support Curtis.
Yep.
Because Curtis understands the dignity of being a woman. No, they don't.
Yep.
No, they don't. They're a bunch of communist slime. And they don't really give a damn about women. Women are just a means to an end. It's a way of a Marxist way of manipulating society. Curtis, you're the guy. We're going to have a lot more talks. And I got a couple more ideas. I cannot emphasize to my audience how important this election is. But I also can't emphasize to my audience how they got to go down. If they have to go down, they go down swinging so we can get up and fight again, not having given up our dignity and our principles and like sucking Democrat, you know what.
Yep.
Well,
look,
the way this whole movement worked, the conservative movement is, we didn't give up.
Right,
we didn't give up on our principles.
You see, Rudy, I got the best corner man, the best cut man in the business, the best consigliere in the business. I was your apprentice for all those years. I learned from the best.
Oh my God, I'm actually you. I always knew that, but watching you now,
don't you see some of you coming out of me?
Yeah, yeah, I'm very proud of you.
All I do is
Andrew's enormously excited.
I'm repeating things that I heard from you for many years.
But you also have a lot of knowledge about modern stuff I don't know about, and it's terrific. It's terrific the way you apply it. Well, we're going to have you on again, and we got a couple of ideas. And I was hoping Andrew would make it here, but he's trying to come in from Washington. But we'll get together, the three of us.
Oh,
okay?
He's been so great lobbying.
Oh no, he's 100%.
My part.
He's 100%. God bless you.
Thank you to you, Rudy, to Andrew, to Dr. Maria,
and to your wonderful family.
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now that's a real candidate. See, that's a real candidate. That's a man who believes in something. You know, you look at this jackass in New Jersey who's running, Cheryl, graduate of the Naval Academy. Wow. Thank you, Ensign, or whatever the hell you are. Except she clearly cheated. They didn't let her graduate with a class. They kept her behind at the Naval Academy for 257 days. And then they finally found some kind of a broken down plane for her to ride. And they only took her because they had 88 cadets that cheated. Man, imagine if they threw all 88 out. You know what would have happened if they threw all 88 out? No other cadet would ever have cheated again, except our Navy. Please don't get crazy when you see a bunch of stars. Maybe I should do this one. A bunch of stars on here. They can be very valuable and they can be very important. And they can also be that these guys were the biggest ass flickers in the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, or the police department. You've got to look behind it. They are as many of them are as often bureaucratic bullshit artists as they are great leaders. Great leaders get washed out because they have ideas that challenge. You get some that get through. Patton, my God, no. Eisenhower, MacArthur, my friend Jack Keane. Come on, you can't do better than that.
General Keane.
He wouldn't give up principle for anything. Most of them are like merely, you know, if President Trump is going to attack the Chinese, I'll call him up. Now I haven't hung him for that. I think that's treason. I'm sorry. I don't want to hang him particularly, but I think that's treason. Well, sure, put him in jail for the rest of his life so no other general ever thinks that. You don't get the right to determine, unless you want to go to Amendment 25 of the Constitution and try to take him out of office, if you got the guts to do that. And Millie, why the hell didn't you do that with Biden? You knew Biden was a submoron. There's a video, there's an email in 2019 with Keith Abelow, who I don't know. I got to talk to Miranda. She didn't bring it out in her interview with him. He got away with this. Keith Abelow did an interview with Miranda about how he knew that Biden was demented.
Right.
Except he moved it ahead about 3 years. We have him on an email.
Yeah, I'm
with
just
Hunter,
find that.
Saying that the old man is demented. This is 2019. The old man is demented and how they can get things past him and how stupid he is. So Keith was lying to you, Miranda. But why wouldn't he? He was a disreputable psychiatrist. He's a total piece of crap. And now he's trying to get himself back on Fox. He probably will because he's a total piece of crap. I can't get on Fox because I tell the truth. Yeah, like the 2020 election was stolen. despite the lies told by some of your reporters that they never really believed it was. Never really believed it was. They believed it more than I did. And I tell the truth and they lie. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, Ted.
It is. It's absurd. Mayor,
do you know what? I got to complete the story. Yeah. This is so important to me. It's about, see, I'm a sports fan, crazy sports fan. Probably one of the biggest tests of my integrity was, would I pretend to be a Met fan and a Yankee fan? I mean, there are other things that wouldn't be as important if I fudged it a little, but this would be really important. I said, no way. I want them to know who I am. If they don't want me, don't vote for me. I got a little nervous about it after the first election when they didn't vote for me. But that didn't mean I quit. I did the same thing in the second election, and they did. And then I won in a landslide. I absolutely guarantee you I had more Met votes than Yankee votes, because I'll tell you who some of the Yankee fans are. But how about this? Cuomo said, I'm going half and half. I can make it back and forth. That was Cuomo's answer. That tells you everything you need to know about him. I'll say for Mondami, the committed Marxist, the committed Islamic supporter of Islamic extremism, the guy who wants to destroy your culture, not just your city. Well, he knows who he is, actually. He wants to destroy you. He said, this is what New Yorkers are sick of. Just pick a team. I'll be there for the Knicks.
Wait. That's what he said?
He said he would prefer the Knicks over the Mets.
The guy doesn't know.
But wait a second. He was willing to take a stand. He's a committed Marxist. That doesn't mean that's good. It means this guy could win.
Right.
I mean, that's very impressive to people. Instead, you hear Cuomo saying, well, I'll go. I could at halftime. First of all, Andrew, there's no halftime in baseball.
He said that?
We don't have halftime in baseball,
I missed this.
jackass.
I missed this.
And by the way, if you think I missed, jackass, that the two best mayors were LaGuardia and Dinkins, you are a disreputable liar. You know the two best mayors were LaGuardia and me. You know that. You know that. Your father knew that. Your father told me that. Your father helped to get me elected and bury Dinkins because he had so many people killed. There's no mayor that ever got to 2,000 murders a year than the guy that you're modeling yourself on. Dinkins, what do you want us at 2,000 murders a year? You're just a miserable liar. So I don't know. Mondami's terrible. He's a damn communist, but I want you. You can't tell the truth about anything. You can't decide between the Mets and the Knicks. You're going to support a mayor that your father wanted out of office so badly. He put out the report on the pogrom in Washington, in Crown Heights, so that I could be elected. You know he did that. And he went about ripping Dinkins apart for turning the city over to Al Sharpton. Now, I don't know. There are things you can compromise about in politics. But these are things about life and death. We got a guy that's running that hates the Jewish people. I mean, he hates the Jewish people with an intensity we may not even understand. We've seen this happen before. And let's face it, he's an Islamic extremist. He could equally hate the Christian people. They sure do a great job of knocking off Christians. What are you doing fooling around like this? Tell the truth. This is why I didn't support you. Because you're not capable of it. It's real simple. I want Curtis Sliwa to win. I believe he can win. If I have to lose, I want to lose with Curtis Sliwa, not with you. Because you've turned out to be too much of a slime ball. And you could do as much damage to the city as Mondami. You could.
Mayor.
It's possible that Mondami would give us a chance. You would more slowly erode the morality, the decency, and the greatness of New York. You sure did it as governor. You were a horrible governor. How about 49 cop killers on the street because of you? I'm going to support a guy. My uncles, I had 4 cops that were uncles. I had a cousin who died in the line of duty. I bled for every single one of the cops that died under me. I went to every one of their funerals. Same thing on September 11. I'm going to vote for you. You put out 49 guys who took cops' lives. What are you, crazy? No. You're a suck-up. You're a cowardly suck-up to the crazy, insane Marxist left wing of the party. You cannot stand up to them. You know something? We go back and look at your history. If you had the balls to stand up, you'd probably maybe be president someday. But you ruined it because you don't have courage. Well,
Mayor.
Yes.
What is your response to what we hear from a lot of folks? Something along the lines of, I like Curtis Sliwa, but he can't win. And he needs to get out of the race, right? You have people literally using that word.
I'm going to tell you
he
this.
needs to get out.
Okay. Very simple. I had to go through this under a lot of pressure, right?
Right.
Yeah, pressure doesn't bother me, as you know.
Yeah.
But this was extensive pressure. I'm not even getting from people, got to support Cuomo, got to support Cuomo. All the money people in New York, got to support Cuomo, got to support Cuomo. Curtis will destroy. I looked at it, and I'm going to tell you as a political analyst, I mean, I can do like crazy things with my mind. I can get it all out, and I can just be a political analyst. If Curtis Sliwa left the race, Cuomo would not win. Curtis Sliwa is not the reason that Cuomo isn't winning. Cuomo isn't winning because people hate Andrew Cuomo. He has what we call in politics a ceiling, and it may very well be better than 50%. Something like 55%, 55% of people will not vote for him if you went and twisted their arm. If you sent the mafia there and told them we'll kill you, they still wouldn't vote for him.
Right.
He had his chance. He was a governor, and he was a terrible governor who had to leave in disgrace because of harassing women. I don't know if that's true, but it sure as hell was a pretext to keep you away from the 15,000 people who died, where he lied completely about everything he was told and everything he did. There's no way to know exactly his involvement in that because he lied so much, just like he lied yesterday when he told you that Dinkins was his model mayor. He thought Dinkins was a complete moron, danger, and a nasty man. I'm going to support that guy. How do I know that we aren't better off, God forbid, with this communist who we can stand up against? With our principles not having been, I mean, the minute, if we have to do it, we have to deal with this guy, they're going to look back on us and say, well, look, you compromised with that crook and that. You really care about the city? Political movements in this country change. And you go take a look at Barry Goldwater to Ronald Reagan. Didn't happen in one race. But we stuck to our principles. And then we dominated the country. Trump didn't back off his principles. He stuck with them. That's what's necessary now. Otherwise, we just complete repeating the sequence that the Marxists have gotten us into that they're much better at than we are, which is lying and pretending. So I'm going to tell you, vote for Curtis Sliwa because he represents your values. And if enough of you do, he'll win. If enough of you don't, he won't. Because there are enough people, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, in New York City that do not want a Marxist, Islamic terrorist, Jew hater to be mayor, nor do they want a pathological, manipulative liar who has no idea what the truth is and can endanger us. The reason we have so much crime is not Mondami. He hasn't had a chance yet. Imagine when he adds on what he's going to do. It's Cuomo. It's Cuomo who released all the prisoners.
Right.
It's Cuomo who released all the cop killers. It's Cuomo who's the reason why I tell you, I don't know, every day for the last 4 years, there are 5,000 to 7,000 people walking the streets of New York City that would not be walking the streets of New York City if I or Bloomberg were the mayor. You know why? Because they want to kill you. They want to rape you. They want to rob from you. They're career criminals. They don't know how to do anything else.
True.
They don't have, and nobody is going to try to help them do anything else, and it wouldn't matter. There are people you can rehabilitate, and there are people that you cannot rehabilitate. And if you can't distinguish between the two of them, do not govern people, because you got a lot of people killed, like Dinkins did, like de Blasio did, even like Adams did.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy could take us to a level, who knows? And Cuomo can't stop it. He doesn't have the credibility. He doesn't have the honesty. He doesn't have the integrity. People who follow Trump see honesty, credibility. They see he believes in something. They understand what he means by America first. You might not agree with him, but they know how to follow him. They know how to implement what he wants done. I don't know. I'm probably 98% right when I listen to him about what he wants done. Every once in a while, you got to go back and find out. So our friend Curtis is going to be on Dr. Maria's show
at 9 p.m. Eastern in just 13 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to switch you over to there in a few minutes. Did we do our break?
Have we done our break the second hour? I don't think we have.
Well, then we got
to pay the bills.
You don't want me to not have anything to eat over the weekend, do you? Come on. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code Rudy. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans. No Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. So I'm going to move real fast so I can get you back to Dr. Maria, who's doing an interview also of Curtis. And I don't know, a woman's touch can be a little different, and she has her own views on Curtis, which are all positive, obviously. I should say, and I'm not going to go into great detail on this, but I will when I talk to my lawyers. I think Smartmatic is still suing me, but it's really nice that I'm being sued by a company that is being prosecuted as a federal felon. They were indicted today for violating the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Now, when you say that, that sounds kind of mushy. They were offering bribes in order to get contracts for their damn phony machines. They have sued me now for 4 years. They're not going to get a settlement, or at least not one in which I say anything nice about them. So go F yourself. But it looks like a couple of them will go to jail. And by the way, they were screwing around in Venezuela, which is exactly the place we said it all started. You know that. Remember, we were made fun of. It all started in Venezuela. This indictment's in Venezuela. You're going to find out about all these machines where they say you can't. They actually say things like you can't access them by internet, and in the manual it shows you how to do it. So Smartmatic looks like they're going to go to prison. Good. That's good. Now, they are very, very heavily placed in Venezuela. We are bombing the hell out of Venezuelan boats that are bringing fentanyl and other things into the United States. I have a feeling that's a two-pronged mission. One is to stop the drugs, and the other is to get Maduro the hell out of there so we can have a very successful country in Venezuela.
Yes, well, Trump must do that for U.S. national security. It's the number one national security threat that we have, because the Maduro regime and the Solis cartel are the government of Venezuela. You can't separate it. It's the same thing.
So it began with Chavez, right?
Well, Maduro succeeded Chavez. Chavez died. So China is laundering their money. Russia, Iran, they're all there. And Ralph Pizzulo's.
Explain who he is.
Oh, yeah, well, we got our good friend. You remember him
Come
from
on.
last season, Steve Heck, businessman, writer, and friend of the show. We're on a tight timeline, and we want to get right
with a
down
great deal of
right
experience,
down the lead, so
with has real experience in Venezuela.
So Ralph Pizzulo's new book, Stolen Elections, Taking Down Democracies Worldwide, where he explains how the Venezuelan cartel stole the 2020 election with the machines that you're talking about.
That's one of the reasons I was disbarred, because of my false testimony about Venezuela.
Except that
Except it was true.
This book proves you correct. You were right then, and you're right now.
What's the name of the book?
Stolen Elections, The Takedown of Democracies Worldwide.
Okay.
We gotta get that.
And now
we will.
That, the worst part is that the Solis cartel, that Venezuela's the money, Cuba's the brains. Cuban intelligence has the intelligence community, the State Department in their hands. They have so many agents in there. And if you say that they're blowing up, that Maduro's blowing up the boats, well, I mean, Trump is blowing up the narco vessels.
I think more than 8.
You know what's happening in Guatemala? The ambassador and the DCM in Guatemala are keeping the president of Guatemala illegally in power. He was illegally installed by the Biden regime in the State Department, and they're keeping the land route open. So while Trump is bombing these boats, these guys are using the land route, and the U.S. ambassador and DCM are helping keep it open. And the DCM last week intervened to take over Guatemala's Supreme Court. They want to take over the judiciary. He actually coerced and threatened members of the Guatemalan judiciary, the Supreme Court, because there's an election and he needs to control the cartel needs Guatemala to stay open, and they must control the judiciary. Trump needs to take a look at that.
The reality is that Venezuela has been a problem for us for a long time. We've gone back and forth about how to deal with it, but it's terrible. You know Venezuela really well.
I know Guatemala better than Venezuela, but I do know a lot about Venezuela.
It could be a very rich country.
It's the richest. It's got the greatest oil reserves in the world.
Ally.
It should be. Well,
it could be a great ally.
Well, Maria Corina Machado
is a great ally.
Just got the Nobel Peace Prize. She should be the one running Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, we all felt bad that she got it because Trump should have got it, but she deserved it.
Yes.
She won the election.
Yes.
Supposedly by a landslide. They cheated the hell out of her.
Of course.
But the New York Times wouldn't admit it because they can't admit that
they're part of the problem.
Yeah, they can't admit that 2020 was a cheat.
Well, of course not, because they're on the other side.
But it's the same company, smart.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to find out. There's stuff I can't tell you right now, but it's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. Well, thank you. And thank you. We'll have you back because we really want to follow.
What's going on down there?
I want to see this guy thrown out. I know I know the oil business pretty well. My law firm, that was their specialty, and it wasn't mine, but I learned it from all of them. And I had a few accomplishments there, like helping Perry become Secretary of Energy, and Perry helped to make it independent. And I just have always had a great feeling about Venezuela, about what it could do for us. Here's what he's doing. In many ways, we were kind of alone in the world. We had to do everything. We had to fight China. We had to fight Russia. We had to fight in the Middle East. We had to fight here. And then, like, when NATO would come and help us, the French troops would stay back and not fight. They cooked the meals. What he has done is the hell with NATO. He's gotten us real allies, guys I go fight with. Like, I used to be a boxer and a street fighter. I hate to admit it. But I don't want some pussy next to me. I want a guy next to me who can swing and hit. Israel can swing and hit. Okay, I got one good one. Now, I got to make more of them. Japan. Whoa, would I love to have Japan back. Best warriors in the history of the world.
Yeah, well, I think we're in the process of getting it.
We get Japan back and China will...
Well, and Trump needs the Western Hemisphere as one of his priorities. And he cannot secure the Western Hemisphere unless the Maduro regime and the Solis cartel are removed, and the traitors in the intelligence community and the State Department are identified and removed.
Okay, so I think we have, and we don't have the time for it right now because I'm going to send you over to Lindell TV. In a strange way, I think right now, and it could change, right now I see a really positive movement in Europe. They just laid out a really, really effective defense plan that they're going to be responsible for, and do it in conjunction with NATO. We need that for Latin America, South America.
Yes.
And we got allies.
We do.
We got some very strong and good allies.
Who's been propping up our enemies? The intelligence community and the State Department.
Of course. Why? We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that now as the show is over. And if you want to know about it, you're going to have to come back on Monday. And this weekend, well, we're going to have a lot of information for you at the end of this. We're going to meet a lot of people this weekend. We're going to have a lot of information for you on Monday. And if we have to come back because something happens, he and I love to do that. We'll be right back. I mean, if we decide that we want to go kick the shit out of Iran.
Already did that.
Again. More time. No more Ayatollah. Goodbye, Ayatollah. No more Ayatollah. And Hamas, I don't know. Why are we still talking about Hamas? They should be gone by now.
Yeah, what this so-called deal?
I mean, they're shooting people, they're killing people, they're not. So how about we just, I don't know, let's devote a week to just getting rid of Hamas. I have a feeling that Bibi would actually like that, right?
I think.
Right? He would like that. So, okay. So now we're going to have to, we got a weekend coming up. That means Saturday, Sunday, depending on your religion, pray. You go, look, if you're Jewish, you can still pray on Sunday. And if you're Christian, you can still pray on Saturday. It's just when the services take place. And so pray to God. It's the same God. And ask him for his help. Because we ain't doing this without God. If you think we're doing this without God, you're going to lose. That's what part of the problem here. We threw him out. We need a higher power to relate to think about, to read about, to get advice about. I was on a great show earlier with a beautiful, beautiful prayer about peace from Pope John Paul the 20th, St. John Paul the 23rd. And it's not namby-pamby, let's all sing songs. Peace through strength. Only thing that works. And wow, does it work. So pray for Israel. Pray for Ukraine. Pray for Iran. Pray for the people of Venezuela. We'll put them in today, and the people of Guatemala. And of course, you pray for us. But mostly pray for the wisdom of our president and pray for his safety. Because you've been so good to us, God. I mean, we just have to, it's on us now if you keep him with us. So God, we'll see you Monday, maybe earlier, 7 o'clock on Lindell TV, 8 o'clock on X, both times on X. If you just want to do it, if it's easier, you just do X. And we'll give you all the stuff nobody else tells you, like this stuff that nobody else would tell you this. God bless America.
God bless
America. What they did was criminal. Deranged Jack Smith, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman too. Weissman's a bad guy. And he had somebody in Lisa, who was his puppet, worked in the office really as the top person. And I think that she should be looked at very strongly. There was tremendous criminal activity having to do. If we don't have fair elections in this country, we're not going to have a country. And I've said it from the beginning, fair elections and borders. And we need also fair press. Because if you don't have fair press, it's very tough. And we've got the strongest border of anybody. Nobody has a border. We have a border where the numbers just came out again. You saw 0 people came in illegally. Now, we do take people into our country legally, but 0 people. But, you're talking about a different subject. You're talking about political crime. They have committed massive political crime. I hope they're looking at Shifty Schiff. I hope they're looking at all these people. And I'm allowed to find out. I'm allowed to, I'm, in theory, the chief law enforcement officer. But I have a very good, talented group. This is about something else, but I hope they're looking at political crime because there's never been so much political crime against a political opponent as what I had to go through. They raided my house in Florida. It was an illegal raid. I have a lawsuit that was doing very well, and when I became president, I said, I'm sort of suing myself. I don't know, how do you settle the lawsuit? I'll say, give me X dollars, right? And I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit. And now I won. It sort of looks bad. I'm suing myself, right? So I don't know. But that was a lawsuit that was very strong, very powerful. They raided illegally my house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago. They went through the drawers of my young son. They went through all of the cabinets and drawers of the First Lady. She walked in. She said, wow, what happened? Because she's very meticulous. And this wasn't so meticulous. As she looked into the drawers and she saw everything a mess.
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained by rational principles. The reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given